There's only 5 weeks left in the regular season for Major League Baseball, and the Blue Jays are still in the running for a wild card spot. Welcome to Off the Roster, brought to you by our founding partner, Proline. With the new Proline app, you can make every pitch more interesting all baseball season long. Download it today. I'm Lindsay Dunn. Cabbie is back after having the last week off, and today, for the first time ever, we are having another special co-host, a guest co-host, a friend of the show, none other than the Scores, Scott Campsall. Woo, 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 woo. We will give you a round of applause.
Good morning, young man. Good morning,
Thank you so much
Welcome,
for having me. Thank you so much for having me. It's very exciting, so thank you very much.
We're happy to have you here. There's so much to talk about today, and you know what, I never really explained why I'm at home and Dan's been at home is because they're building a new studio for us that we are going to debut in early September. So for the next couple of weeks, oh shucks, I have to work from home. It's been real rough, guys. Let me tell you about that.
It's very 2022 of you. Very 2021 of you.
Oh my God. I wonder if I still get the tax breaks. That's something I don't know normally even get into. I don't know. My taxes are terrible. Why am I talking about taxes right now? A quick MLB news is that Dana Brown is out as the Astros general manager. The team announced that Brown is no longer with the team. His contract was set to expire after the season, which is interesting because their record is not bad right now. So that's a very interesting and surprising move right now, Cabbie.
Hey, well, listen, we'll take any disruption, any controversies with other clubs so that the Toronto Blue Jays can just focus on getting that third wild card spot. Any distractions around the league? Yes. Like the Kansas City Royals winning 8 in a row. They're like these disruptors. Perfect. Go disrupt the other clubs, the other 29 clubs as you guys have been doing. Let Toronto focus on rebounding from dropping 2 of 3 in Yankee Stadium. There are a lot of positives, which we'll get into. But that's kind of an interesting one. Didn't that news just broke, Linz, with Dana Brown?
Yeah, just minutes ago.
Okay.
Just minutes ago.
Okay.
Yeah, it's very interesting. Everyone online trying to react to it. But Scott, of course, we have to talk about the Blue Jays. And also in the chat, let us know how you're feeling. Join us on YouTube, Off the Roster TNN. So Scott, we'll start off with you talking about the Blue Jays coming off of this road trip where I know going into it, everyone's like, it's make or break. What happens in this road trip is going to be so dependent on the rest of the season for the Blue Jays. So they did not get swept by the Yankees. It wasn't terrible. They had some interesting moments on the road. But how are you feeling about the Blue Jays going into this week where they're off today and then they'll be hosting the Kansas City Royals and then Seattle?
Yeah, I think, like you said, just avoid the sweep by the Yankees. They were able to do that. I think if you look at the season as a whole and given how frustrating it's been and just given, the injuries, the Vladdy of it all, sitting here and looking at 30 games left in the season, right there knocking on the door, not just 30 games, but 30 games against teams that you are competing with in the standings where kind of every game's going to matter. Like if you're a Blue Jays fan, I think this is kind of best case scenario, just given everything that's happening. You've got a lot of the younger guys contributing, which I think is kind of a big, you got guys like McAdoo, Bateman, even Cameron stepping in. Straw was great, yesterday. You got those guys going. Springer looks like he's heating up a bit. Kirk's going. Things are looking okay. You can easily talk yourself into this being like a very winnable stretch and a very attainable, getting that last wild card spot. I think, there's a lot of challenges, which I'm sure we're going to get into. But I do think if you had told me a couple months ago this is where we'd be, I would be psyched to just hear that. And I probably wouldn't believe you, Scott.
Yeah, just to follow you on that, Scott, one quick note. Dalton Varshall's batting 172 in the month in his last 28 days. So maybe that's part of the reason why Dana Brown got fired. Anyway, the remainder of the season, so as it's been said, Toronto is facing, I don't want to say lesser competition, but teams with below 500 records, and a lot has been made about that. Toronto was one of these teams. And to use an NFL parlance, it felt like teams were looking, it was a look-ahead game, like looking past the Toronto Blue Jays to the next series. And then here we are, Toronto's taking 2 or 3 here, 2 or 3 there, 2 or 3 there, here and there, and everywhere. But for the remainder of the season, so 2 teams have easier schedules as far as winning percentages go. Seattle versus the teams that they face have a combined .452 winning percentage. They're home to Philly and then at Toronto. Cleveland and the versus the teams that they are facing the remainder of the season have a .462 winning percentage. They're at Anaheim, then home to Kansas City, then home to Toronto. So Fangraphs has predicted that the team that will grab the third wild card spot will have 80 wins. So an 80 and 82 record to get that third wildcard spot. Not ideal. We've seen it in other sports. And again, going back to the NFL, just last season, the Carolina Panthers were 8-9 and won NFC South. They were in the playoffs. In hockey, just last season, the LA Kings, if you take they were 35-47. If you count the overtime losses as losses, that team was 12 games under 500. They made the playoffs. A couple of years ago in football, the Tampa Bay Bucks were also 8-9 in 2022 and then made the playoffs. So, I mean, it's 80 and 82, not a beautiful record. It's kind of ugly, but if Toronto could get in, who knows what can happen, because baseball is the luckiest and unluckiest sport of the four majors. Linz, how's your optimism after this weekend, seeing Toronto drop 2 of 3?
Well, I was feeling a little optimistic after seeing Vladdy come back from the IL, which we'll discuss him in a moment, maybe positively, negatively, I'm not sure. But when I look at the numbers, which we know all season, like Blue Jays, they're going to go in the playoffs, they're going to have a nice run. I never really thought that they would make it potentially back to the World Series. There was so much put on them right now. Like last year was just such a magical season where everyone talked about the friendship and how all of these underdog players or even unheard of players went on these runs, from Trey Savage to Nathan Lucas last year to Addison Barger. I feel like my optimism is still obviously very high, which is unfortunately where my head lives often, but it has went down just a tiny, tiny bit. They're a game and a half back of getting that final spot. And while they may have what is viewed as one of the third easiest schedules in Major League Baseball, so much has to go right, which is what we keep talking about. Like, everyone who's still on this roster needs to stay healthy. And I know that we've discussed this often, Cabbie, on the show, is just if Vladdy, he just gets one hit. But it's like, do we need to stop even thinking that could be their kind of ticket, guys, into making that push into the postseason? Because there's been so many other things that,
I'm not really focused on Vladdy. There have been so many, yes, he's obviously the cornerstone of the franchise, but there have been so many other positive, so many other role players who have stepped, and Scott listed a bunch of them, Daz Cameron and Charles McAdoo and guys like that. Miles Straw this weekend, all 3 of his hits were doubles. Bro's got wheels, as we know, but those are nice. Yeah. And then I just want to briefly just talk about the Dylan Cease performance on the weekend. Flirted with another no-hitter. We know that he has this awesome collab with the Art Gallery of Ontario, and a merch drop is happening tomorrow. I think, Lindsay, you might speak with him tomorrow. But this guy's just, and we know he was a big off-season acquisition, but this guy is delivering, and this guy's flirted with his second no-hitter of the season, once in San Francisco, this time in New York in Yankee Stadium. It's actually the second time he's flirted with a no-hitter in Yankee Stadium against the Yankees. Last season when he was with the Padres, Cody Bellinger broke up a no-hitter in the 7th inning, and then on Saturday it was Jazz Chisholm who broke up his no-hitter in the 7th. But just a couple of notes about Dylan Cease, who I love, who we all love, whether it's Dylan Cease with 2 days with cleanly shaven, and then it's back to the wild beard and the flowing locks.
Crazy
we need to get that guy a Dove sponsorship or Pert Plus or something, because the guy has a mane. But
Pert Plus.
Pert Plus.
Okay, a couple of notes from MLB.com. The lone run allowed ended Cease's road scoreless streak at 42 innings, the second longest road scoreless streak in at least the expansion era since 1961. 11 times in 12 starts, Cease has thrown over 100 pitches. This guy's a warrior. And finally, with 209 strikeouts, Dylan Cease needs 40 more strikeouts in 6 starts to pass Robbie Ray for third highest strikeout total in a single season in Blue Jays history. Number 1 and number 2 are owned by Roger Clemens, who in 97 struck out 292 batters. In 1998, struck out 271 batters. So 240 is the number that would pass Robbie Ray, who currently holds third with 239. That is, 248, excuse me. So he has to get to 249. 248 is the number that Dylan Cease can pass in the next 6 starts. So I'm looking forward to that. And this guy, every 5 days, you're just getting a dynamite performance. Walks were a little high on Saturday with 5, but he's a strikeout machine, super durable, and like one of the 2 brightest spots or brightest players on our team, Dylan Cease and Louis Varland. So yes, Lindsay, back to your point about Vlad. Yes, his season has not gone to expectation, but there are so many other guys contributing that give me reason to continue celebrating this squad and being optimistic about this last 30-day stretch, as Scott has mentioned.
Yeah, I'm still optimistic, just a little bit nervous. And Scott, do you think that Dylan Cease's back hurts from carrying the team?
Yeah, great question.
It's got to, honestly. Like it's interesting that you hold Cease and kind of Vladdy up as opposite ends of the spectrum, because it's sort of like Vladdy is your reason to be like unoptimistic, to not be optimistic. Yeah. If there's one thing that's holding them back, it's like they really do need this power. Like they are getting, that's kind of the one, they were 6 for 40 with runners in scoring position, like over the weekend. And it's like, if a couple of the hits that they have are homers instead of singles or whatever, like it's nice to see Vlad back, but not getting the home runs is clearly something that is going to hold them back. Like if they do not make the playoffs, that will be the reason why. However, if they do make the playoffs, like Dylan Cease is the reason for optimism, right? Every time he goes out there, he gives them a chance to not only win, but honestly, like dominate. And he's clearly into this Cy Young race, which I'm sure we'll get into, but he is trying to win that Cy Young. But even Saturday, I'd say, is a great example of a game where he didn't even really have his best stuff. Like you said, Cab, like 5 walks, and still no hit them, into the 7th inning. Like that's unbelievable. And then if you were to get to the playoffs, like he's got to be the number one reason why you think, hey, maybe it's not just we get to the playoffs and that's it. Like the Blue Jays have a real chance to go Soriano, Cease, and the way Bieber's been pitching. Like that's a legitimate source of optimism if you're a Blue Jays fan, thinking, hey, if we can squeak in, we've got a real chance, I think, to compete. And Cease is number 1 by a wide margin on that list of the reason why.
Let's quickly check in with the chat right now. Thank you to everyone joining us on YouTube, Off the Roster, TNN. Johnny Scarpelli, welcome back to the chat, saying, I just don't think their pitching is sustainable. Also, he has no faith. Then Mike saying, ye have little faith, keep the faith, and saying, you might be right, but you got to hang in there. So it's interesting to kind of see where the fans are even at right now. Some having faith, some, it's wavering a little bit. Like I fully am optimistic and believe that they're going to do it. Like is my strength at 100% of we're going to do it or they're going to do it all the way? No, it's at like a 97, and that's like pretty low for me. So, but we do have some big Blue Jays news in a moment, but I would love to get your guys' take on it in the chat. But let's just actually go about the Major League Baseball awards odds and who you guys have. Because when we talk about Cy Young, obviously Schlittler, I'll call him his correct name for once, or Cease, who do you actually think, like just even a vibe check, is going to win it in the AL?
It's a coin flip at this point, isn't it? Yeah. Basically, it's... we watch this hometown team it's been, 130 games or so far. And this guy's been dominant, and he dominated the Yankees in their own building. Schlittler's been, the New York media and the baseball writers, I don't know how many of them are from New York or have ties to New York. So there's always the narrative is, I don't know if the Cy Young is as much a narrative award as the MVP. I might be mixing that up because the MVP award, Pete Crow Armstrong is also, he's leading the NL MVP race over Shohei Ohtani, which is kind of wild. He's having a phenomenal season. But in this case, I don't know. I see Dylan Cease more often, and his strikeout total's 209. The guy's his ERA is like mid twos. He's been incredible and doing it on a team that has underperformed, whereas Schlittler, now it's like, okay, well, who is Aaron Judge isn't there, Stanton hasn't been there, Ben Rice has been amazing. Cody Bellinger has been okay. So now I understand what's it. So I'm rooting, not rooting. I'm leaning Dylan Cease, but I don't have a baseball vote. I don't know if Scott, you have a baseball vote. Lindsay, I don't know if you have a baseball vote.
We have votes on this show.
Okay,
yeah, they wouldn't dream of giving me
Dylan Cease. That's my vote right
All
now.
right.
Yeah, we're voting.
Vote to Dylan.
I think we're voting Dylan Cease, but I think it's I'll go. I agree. Like I am leaning Cease myself, but I think it is a fascinating race. I think Schlittler has really not pitched great at Yankee Stadium compared to the way he's pitched on the road, and I think if that were different, he would be probably a little bit further ahead of Cease. They're both tied and leading in different versions of WAR, but I think this is just an exciting race to me. Like it is neck and neck. They are both going to be pitching meaningful games down the stretch of the season. Hopefully for the Blue Jays, it's meaningful games the whole stretch of the season. But this is like a big time pitching race. Like this is going to be really exciting. Obviously, from our perspective, we'll be watching it probably more closely than just about anybody else. But I think with Cease, I'm going to give the nod to Cease just because I think every game for the Blue Jays matters, and it matters so much. And he is going out there and just battling whether he's got the stuff or not. So I'm going to give the edge to Cease. He's got the good vibes from the AGO and the merch coming. Like, that's going to give him a boost. We're going to give some credit to the AGO on that one.
I love this. Yeah, he's supposed to be on our show tomorrow where I don't know how many questions will be asked about his finger painting skills. No, he uses an actual brush. I'm being mean on his art skills right now. I have none, so I should not judge. So that's on the AL side. For the NL, the faves right now, The Miz or Chris Sale.
If it's a narrative award, then Chris Sale, what he's doing at 38 years old. Atlanta's been one of the best teams in baseball. Well, I mean, right there with Milwaukee the whole season. But the guy's 38. The guy has, I don't know, I haven't looked at his numbers, but his ERA's around 2. But Jacob Mizorowski's he's a phenom. Was it last year, there were fans that were up in arms because he was named to the NL All-Star roster after pitching 5 games. But bro throws 105. Gasolina. All day, 80, 90 pitches, over 100. Like, I don't know how this guy's arm is going to stay on his body by the time he's 30. Doesn't matter because Milwaukee's trying to win now. They have this incredible opportunity to win now as the Dodgers have been sort of sputtering since the Tarek Skubal trade. He finally throws a game with 10 or more strikeouts. Blake Snell's coming back. I mean, the team is just stacked, but then the owner might be indicted. There's fraud allegations. I think the Miz. I think he's a lock for NL Cy Young Award. However, if this award leans into the narrative, then Chris Sale, who I think did he win a Cy Young with Boston? I think Chris Sale story is pretty intriguing for some baseball writers as well.
Baseball writer Scott.
That's a great call. I want to give a shout out to Christopher Sanchez, who for the Phillies.
Oh yeah, of course, Philly, of course, yes, yeah.
Yeah. He's got a shot to win 20 games here. I think obviously struggled, a little bit before the All-Star break. Yeah, a little bit before the All-Star break, but is kind of getting back into form. I think he's got a real chance there if he gets to that 20 games. I think that's going to be tough to argue against him. But again, it should be another interesting race. Like there's a couple of little narrative items that are working against a couple of these guys. But I definitely like Christopher Sanchez coming down the stretch here.
I like that. Also, welcome to the chat, Little Willie Styles. Nice to see you again in the chat. And then let's talk about just the MVP, because you guys brought up PCA, Pete Crow Armstrong, who is just this crazy kind of arc that's happened in his season, which I'm going to tell you at the beginning of the year, I went and looked at the actual people who have votes when they're just doing their projected votes before the season. His name was not on any of them. It was all, of course, Shohei. So today, just on a vibe check alone, Shohei or PCA, Cabbie, taking MVP of NL.
Listen, Pete Crow Armstrong is absolutely raking right now. In his on his last 7 games, bro's hit 6 home runs. I mean, the guy. Listen, with NL MVP or with MVP awards, baseball writers like WAR. Anecdotally, or actually maybe not. This is probably provable, but the statistic wins above replacement players has been the deciding factor. And right now, Pete Crow Armstrong's WAR is 7.9, and Shohei Ohtani's is 6.9. Shohei Ohtani has been injured recently, but with 4 MVPs on his mantle, he is a one of one. He is, many people can make the legitimate argument that he's the greatest baseball player to ever live. So a player like Pete Crow or any other player has to have a phenomenal season in order to even be in the conversation for MVP, while Shohei Ohtani is still in a uniform. And Pete Crow Armstrong is having this type of season. The Cubs are a nice surprise. Kyle Tucker goes to the Dodgers. No problem. I got his bat and I've got my own. And the production, he's hit like 30-something home runs. I don't have the numbers in front of me, but one of my buddies in the group chat he goes, oh, PCA's just been an automatic the past week or so with home runs. And 6 and 7 games has been fantastic. And the Cubs, I believe, swept the Dodgers recently too, which was nice. And I think Shohei faced. No, I don't think they face each other. But anyway, the one previous MVP final tabulation that draws a kind of close comparison as far as WAR goes. There was a year where Miguel Cabrera won the Triple Crown, and I want to say it was 2012. The Triple Crown hadn't been achieved in like 30 or 40 years in the sport where it has the most, the largest archives of player performance and all that, and stats are the most important to this sport of baseball. Mike Trout won the MVP that year because his WAR was like 10.7 and Cabrera's was like 8. Even though Miguel Cabrera achieved a feat that had only been achieved a handful of times in history, WAR, this friggin' stat, is the ones that the nerds, and we know that the nerds run sports, the nerds gravitate towards to award players. Nikola Jokic, who we'll speak about the NBA later, is a darling of advanced analytics, and the dude is legit. I don't want to besmirch Nikola Jokic or any of his horses. So if I'm looking at WAR to be the deciding factor between Shohei Ohtani's MVP, 5th MVP, or Pete Crow Armstrong's 1st MVP, then I'm going to lead Pete Crow Armstrong, who is the betting favorite right now to win NL MVP. Scott, do you see it the same way? And do you have as many nerdy tendencies as some baseball or basketball writers?
Great questions there. Number one, I'll just say you hit the nail on the head there. I think you've mentioned narrative a bunch of times. PCA has like the perfect narrative argument to winning an MVP this season. He is killing it. He's having all these great offensive stretches. He's been great defensively. He's a surprising team that's playing well. Like that checks all the boxes. He's going up against, a perennial MVP candidate. So I think if you're looking from that perspective, which again is very anti-nerd, or maybe it's nerd in a different way. I don't know how we're considering this anymore, but
alternate nerd alert.
Sorry?
Nothing. Keep going. Inside joke. Keep going, buddy.
So I like it from that perspective. I also like it from the perspective of if this is a year that Shohei, if Shohei is going to at least get some credit for pitching and hitting every year as well as he does, then I think we have to hold it against him when he's not pitching, which he hasn't been doing because he's been injured. So I think if there's ever going to be a year where he doesn't win MVP, it's going to be a year like this where he's been a little, not himself and you have somebody else playing so well. So I agree with you. I'm going PCA all the way right now, which also is kind of a fun, if he wants to go with that, he can have that. But am I a nerd? No, Cabbie, I'm not a nerd. I'm against it. Baseball is probably the sport where we can be a little nerdy, but get the nerd stats out of my basketball, get the nerd stats out of my football. Baseball, You guys can keep it. Everything else, we'll go with the eye test.
Lindsay hates math, so I'm not sure that she's a music nerd, but hates math, so maybe not a stats nerd. But where do you say? And listen, I think Shohei should win MVP just for the record, because Shohei is a unicorn of the highest order. And I hate that sometimes Lindsay knows. We've discussed it before. I hate that sometimes we get bored by excellence.
Yes.
LeBron only has 4 MVPs. LeBron should have like 8. You know what I mean? Yeah. Or some of these, Shohei Ohtani. I mean, they're comparing him to Babe Ruth. And with legitimately so. So if he has 7 or 8, if he goes, Barry Bonds at 7, if he gets to 7 like Bonds, like, yeah, we get it, and he should, because he's earned these trophies. But anyway, Linz, where do you fall on the Shohei versus PCA debate?
Oh, I love that you brought it up, the being bored with excellence. And people, when they have somebody who is playing so elite and so amazing, if they even have a slightest off night, which is still better than most players within their respective sports, people are like, oh, it's terrible. You're like, no, most players could not do this. This is amazing. We're so lucky to be witnessing this while we are alive and able to watch sports or listen to sports. It's just insane. So I think like the narrative of PCA would be fun, because just Shohei is such an unbeatable unicorn, like you said. So just for fun, because we get a vote on this show, I'm going with PCA, and I want to keep along. Just like, why not? Why not? Let's talk about the Cubs, though, because the Blue Jays and Cubs, it was announced a pretty exciting moment that they will be participating next year in a Little League game, which is exciting. You saw, I believe, I can't even remember the teams that just played in it. It was the Braves and after. So here's the announcement that came out. On August 19th, they'll be playing where the Little League tournament happens. Every year, you're seeing thousands of young kids just having the time of their life. We saw a lot of videos yesterday. There we go. It's the Brewers taking on Atlanta. Like Miz sitting in the dugout with kids. They were all asking him about pitching. But this didn't even cross my mind until one of my group chats blew up. They're like, does this change the narrative that has been around the Toronto Blue Jays, that people actually care about them? Or is it because, say, Vladdy's on the team and he's one of the most popular player in all of Major League Baseball? Or is it the fact that they're trying to make people care that the All-Star game is going to be in Toronto in 2029? My mind didn't go anywhere. I was like, oh, this is great. I can't wait for the guys to play at the Little League tournament, like, stadium. What do you make of this announcement, Cabbie?
I think it's cool. I think it's cool for the game. And the game is obviously last year it exploded internationally when Toronto, Canada's team, and the LA Dodgers, I don't know, Japan's favorite team with Sasaki, with Shohei Ohtani, with Yamamoto. I mean, I think it was something like half of the country watched the World Series in Japan last year. And I think Game 7 got up to 11 or 12 million viewers in our country. So like a quarter or maybe a third of the country tuned into the World Series. So it just makes sense. Like, obviously Toronto's underperformed this year, but the Toronto Blue Jays, I mean, we announced ourselves in 15 and 16, and then, Batista's bat flip reverberated around the world. But this makes sense for the Toronto Blue Jays. They have young, exciting players, and Vladimir Guerrero Jr. is only 27, I think, and Pete Crow Armstrong is 24. Game's in good hands with, like, young superstars. And Vladdy, we know, as much as Dan Riccio hates this, we're going to see Vladimir Guerrero Jr. off-season workout pics. Bro's going to be down 25 pounds, going to be shredded, coming back in 2027 with a vengeance and knock the cover off the baseball. And that'll flow nicely into that series in where is it, in Iowa or Indiana? I can't remember exactly. It's in Pennsylvania, yeah. So yeah, I like it. I don't know. I hope there aren't detractors about this announcement. I don't know. Scott, you into it?
Yeah. I think it's fun. I think it's like, it's one of those things you see when your team, finally makes the World Series or whatever. You saw it a little bit, with the Raptors the following season, more national TV games. Obviously Kawhi didn't stick around, so that complicates the kind of superstar aspect of it. But the Blue Jays have that with Vladdy, as you mentioned. I think it's good. A couple of young stars. They've got Cease now. Like, there's some very marketable players that I think makes sense to sort of throw them out there in front of the young fans. But these are kind of the spoils that you start to see when a team has success. Like you said, obviously this year hasn't gone the way they hoped, but when you go in and you play in arguably like one of the greatest World Series that we've seen in, I don't know, the last 20 years or so, I think that you get offshoot credit for that, and you get to participate in games like this. Maybe we'll see them show up in the Field of Dreams game at some point. I think this is the kind of stuff that happens. Like, these are the opportunities you get when you're successful, and I think that's just what we're seeing.
I
It's
love
too
this.
bad
I
they
said
don't
the
get to
po-
play
yeah.
on the Little League-sized field, though, because that might be the only place Vladdy could hit a home run.
Come on, Zach. Come on. What are you doing?
And he's gone.
That's all right. Nathan Lucas will hit a bomb. Big sexy
Yeah.
Alejandro Kirk will hit a bomb. Charles McAdoo will hit a bomb. Daz Campbell
Big
will hit
sexy.
a bomb. And you know what? So will Kazuma Okamoto will hit a bomb right into the cornfield where they're processing pancake mix.
Oh my God, I love this. Whatever they do with corn, they make whiskey with it, don't they? Or am I making?
think so.
No, I think I'm getting
Fuel,
Yeah, something
ethanol?
like that.
Yeah, fuel.
Things.
Corn syrup's in everything.
On
It's
the
in
cob.
Coke Zero. It's in Coca.
Oh.
It's in everything. It's in our food.
Like,
No,
wait,
I meant
are
Coca-Cola.
they
That's why I had
mixing
to
it?
clarify.
Ayo.
That's what I did.
Yeah, ayo.
Jeez,
But they're putting corn in that now?
Yeah, they're putting that's better than what they're actually lacing it with. But let's switch over then to something that I love on the weekend. Because while there's haters hating the fact that, the Jays are getting to be a part of a marquee game, or the fact that another cool marquee game like that exists, the Players' Weekend. I love this.
Same.
Because people say the Yankees, where the players don't actually get to show their personality or even have their name on the back of their jersey. It's a moment for them to have a little bit of flavor. Let's take a look at some of the things that happened throughout the weekend, including, as Cabbie calls him, Big Sexy behind the plate, Alejandro Kirk having custom catching gear. The designer showing, so this is amazing. It shows a bit of the skyline of Toronto rather, but then also Tijuana, where he is from. It has on his mask some moments from Canada, but also of his Mexican heritage, showing that he plays for Canada's team, but he's very proud to be from Mexico. And there's a really cool behind the scenes video of the designer of how they dyed this, how they put everything through it. And it's like, those are the things that truthfully I don't think of. I just want to see it on the field. And I know David.
Oh, nice.
So this is right now him going through the dye process. Very cool transitions also from an editing perspective of every little detail that was put in, from there's the etching of the skyline to making it white to putting the Canadian flags on one side and then putting his love and that of Mexico, but also Tijuana, where he is from. I just think this is cool. What do you think of this? Were there a couple favorite moments or players, like custom cleats or bats, Cabbie, that you saw from the weekend? Oh, there is a chance he's floating. But Scott,
Yes.
You did find one that I actually didn't see that happened that has a little bit of The Simpsons.
Yeah.
Sorry,
That it was. Honestly, that was the voice of an angel. Sorry, I got caught off guard there. I didn't know.
Yeah, you're like, is there a cat right now screeching somebody? Did try out
Beyonce?
for
I hear
Canadian
it.
Idol. Just so you know, I did try out for Canadian Idol because there was nothing else to do when I lived in Regina, Saskatchewan. So me and a coworker, because they were having the auditions within the building that we worked in, we went there and did not make it past the very, 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 very first thing, which is people who just walk in, give their name, they're like, absolutely not, get out. So anyways, let's talk about what they didn't let me shine. BS.
Man.
We'll talk about other people being denied singing opportunities, but hey, welcome back, Cabbie.
I'm so sorry. I dropped out like Will Smith's dad in The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. Okay, so All-Star Players Weekend was. I love the creativity. I think the first time we saw it, Lindsay, wasn't it like 15 or 16? I remember Aaron Sanchez. His jersey name was Sanchez, and he had 41, and just a nice little tweak to his nameplate. But now with the cleats are more. Oh man, Josh Naylor had the studded. I don't know how many studs were in his Jordan 11s. I think he wore, but they just sparkled. And I'm gonna salute one of his teammates later in the show. But I love. Hey, quickly about Alejandro Kirk. Can we just? I just want to give a couple of moments of a salute to Alejandro Kirk in Sunday's game. Listen, I know we lost 8-3, but there was the strike him out, throw him out in the bottom fourth. It was Jazz Chisholm, who is a very you mentioned the Yankees don't have a lot of flavor. This bro is just walking aura. Like every time he swings the bat, I mean, he doesn't look like it, but bro is he's got upper deck power. Anyway, there was Jose Soriano strikes out Jazz Chisholm, and then Alejandro Kirk throws out Spencer Jones, stealing second base. Nice little strike him out, throw him out. And then we got to salute Alejandro Kirk, who's got a 12-game hitting streak. Again, I know this is in the face of the Blue Jays losing 8-3 on Sunday, but he's been consistently killing at the plate for the last 30 days. And what a nice second half surprise from Alejandro Kirk. His bat has been as bright and as lively as his chest plate and the custom helmets that he wore this weekend for Players Weekend. That's all I got.
I love it. No, I love this. And Scott, you're bringing up there was a Simpsons tie-in to one of the players.
Yeah, sorry. Shout out to Kirky always. Just like one of the most fun baseball players there is. Yeah, love him. Anytime you can be taller than a professional athlete, also that's always fun.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it's pretty insane. It makes everything he does that much more impressive if you've ever walked by him in real life, because you're just like, you'd never in a million years think that was a professional athlete.
No.
Sorry. Anyway, it's back to your question here. So Richie Palacios, player for the Rays, apparently has a personal relationship with Yeardley Smith, who does the voice of Lisa Simpson on The Simpsons. So I stumbled across these. So I stumbled across these kicks. So she helped design Simpsons-inspired kicks. It has the Lisa Simpson from I Am the Lizard Queen on one of them, and then the other one she's flying through the air. So those were by far and away my favorite thing I saw from Players Weekend, and there's a fun little story for it on MLB.com that kind of just runs down that relationship with those. I Am a Lizard Queen gets said in this household probably more often than it should. So seeing that right away, it was like, that's a personal favorite right off the bat.
That's so funny. And it's like moments like that were people at home were like, oh my God, I didn't know that they liked this, or they were a fan of it. And Davis Schneider, who was called up briefly for the weekend, his sister, I believe it was Olivia, designed his custom cleats, which had his dog Jasper on. She designed them, painted them. I thought that was a really cool family moment as well. And my gosh, we've talked a lot of baseball, which we will continue. But hey, Scott, do you think you could do the 999 challenge at a ballpark?
Do I think I could do the 999? I could do the 999 challenge. What happens to me afterward, that's the real question.
Do you think it'd be the hot dogs would be the issue, or the beer?
I think afterwards.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. We need on-site help for that. See, that's the question, really, though, is like, how do I get out of the stadium afterwards? And is it the 9 beers or is it the 9 hot dogs? It's probably the dogs. I think the dogs are ultimately taking me down. The beers might be okay, but it's got to be buddy system. I got to take one of you with me to kind of carry me out of there.
That's not how it goes, but you know what? I will go. And Cabbie will go. We will sit beside you in support, and we're going to look damn great while we do it because, fun fact, we've teamed up with the Nation Network and Levelware to launch the Perfect 9 collection, which is a limited edition lineup inspired by one of baseball's most legendary game day traditions. Of course, that is the 999 challenge. It's not your average merch. You got premium fabrics, modern fits, and gear you'll actually wear. Check it out at nationgear.ca. They also have the Social Club, which I am wearing right now. This is an amazingly comfortable sweater that no one has told me that I need to promote, but I legit love it, so I wanted to get it. But guys, we're going to talk about baseball. Obviously, this is a big week for the Toronto Blue Jays, but I want to talk about basketball news for a moment because we have new Kawhi news. But first, Scott has had a lot of the Toronto Temple games sitting beside me, which usually we are up to no good and just being ridiculous human beings, talking about some of the in-house promotions they have, which are questionable, oh my gosh. Actually, you know what, Cabbie, I never want to talk about this as the only woman on the show, but they are sponsored by a ladies product that is only around, ladies will use like once a month. I don't even want to talk about, but
why?
They have.
Why is it weird that it's 10
It is. As somebody, it is. I'm like, I am so much a dude and so it's just so taboo. But they throw out boxes of this during the game, and it's hilarious to see the guys catch it, being like, "What is this I'm getting?" And then some of the dads having to explain to their sons or even young daughters who are not there in life, but they have a whole segment where they were interviewing people, and this airs on the Jumbotron or the big screen, where their microphone is placed on one of the tampons. And I'm like, so some person can
unknowingly catch the hot mic, and then they could say, so you hear, the whole stadium hears their initial reaction to catching a
Well,
box of
you just see
tampons?
it, but part of the promos is that like they went around and asked people about how cool it is that they're sponsored by it, and the microphone is placed on one of the lady products. It is just like, I'm sorry, I can't even.
That is the mic. Okay,
yeah, it's
gotcha.
wild,
Right.
buddy.
The
It is
tampon is
wild.
the
It's
mic.
so,
Okay,
every
okay.
time it goes
That's
on,
kinda
Scott
fun.
looks at like, it is wild. And I was like, oh, I'm just so not here for it, as anyone can tell. I'm sweaty talking about this. But let's talk about the Toronto Tempo, who continue
What's
to
going
have
on with
a
the
tough
squad? Yeah.
My God. So they started off so strong. You get Kiki Rice, like their first ever draft pick. Yes, you have the expansion draft where Julie Almond was the first pick, Marina Mabry going on a tear, Slim going on a tear. But then the injuries have piled up, which we know every league, every team, they suffer from this.
Which
But my gosh.
Brittany Sykes is one of those, right? She was injured for a bit.
She was
Okay.
doing so great that she was part of this All-Star campaign. Everyone that thought that she would go to the All-Star game, but then she injures her foot. She's out for 8 weeks, come back, has an amazing game against the Indiana Fever. But the first game back, a minute and a half into it, she's out with an injury. Same game. Anissa
Again?
Morrow, who was brought in to the Tempo at the trade deadline, who's been just making such an impact on and off the court, she's out. And then yesterday, Scott, during the Aces, Julie Almond, who's been so fantastic this season for them, she is out after hitting her head on the court, diving for a ball. What do you make of all of this? And the fact that they announced that Slim and Anissa are now out for the rest of the season.
Yes. Yeah, poor Julie went down. Brutal. Honestly, and also, friend of the show, our friend Chelsea, reporting that Marina might also sit out the majority of the rest of the games, if not all the rest of the games. So, from a personality standpoint, just from a personal standpoint, it is such a bummer, especially with Slim, just as you mentioned, out 8 weeks. She came in, she was supposed to be part of this all-star, duo backcourt with Marina Mabry, got off to a great start. Team hovering around 500, being competitive, but then to see her go down for 8 weeks, she comes back for one game. We actually got to talk to her after the game. I asked her, what's it like to be back? Hear that roar from the crowd, and she was just so excited. She was so excited to be off the minutes restriction. So just super cruel to have her go down in the next game, pretty much I think 2 minutes in, something crazy like that. So I feel for her. That's brutal. As you mentioned, Morrow has been. They got her in a midseason trade right before the deadline, and she's been everything that the team has needed. She's been a presence inside. I believe she's leading the team in rebounding. So seeing her go down is tough, just from the sense of, wanting to see her develop with the team a little bit more, get some more reps. It's a huge bummer, but, on the other side of things, there's 7 games left. They've been eliminated from playoff contention. So maybe from a basketball perspective and a lottery perspective, this isn't, they're going to have the benefit of only having this year's record. I believe you can correct me if I'm wrong, Lindsay. Only having this year's record affect their lottery odds. So the worse that they can finish, the better their lottery odds are going to be compared to the rest of the league, except for the Fire. I think they have it's 2 years that they're, the lottery averages are 2 years. So, there is unfortunately kind of a bright spot to that, which is just that if this team continues to lose, they're going to have a solid spot and a solid shot at somebody like Juju Watkins, who would, I think, drastically change the outlook for this team if that's somebody they go and
Big
get.
time.
So, from a personal perspective, it sucks, and I feel really sad for the ladies because they've been, especially Slim's been working so hard to get back, and just from she really wanted to be out there, so that sucks. But unfortunately, their season kind of is already wrapped up, so maybe it's not the end of the world. From somebody who goes to the games and loves to interact with players and everything, it's a bummer. But again, there might be some sort of silver lining, in terms of just their record and the lottery odds.
You have to find one at this point. This has just been a crazy season for them. But Cabbie, when we talk about
it's their first season. So I mean, even though the Valkyrie, I think, was the first WNBA expansion team to make the playoffs in its first year, maybe there was some of that hope and optimism with the Toronto Tempo, but it is an expansion team, so we have to sort of temper our expectations. But
we like that, Cab. We like this.
Yeah.
I like that.
But it kind of sucks that the team had 10 or 11 games, like a losing skid right in the middle of their season, which kind of derailed some of the optimism.
Totally,
Two home
yeah.
games left for them at the end of the year, and one includes Caitlin Clark in the Indiana Fever. She had an absolutely phenomenal performance on this weekend, as well as Angel Reese and Paige. They're all making some record-setting seasons. So when you maybe I won't be paying attention. I don't know why I went Italian there. Maybe won't be paying attention to the tempo, which you still should. There's plenty of hope for these players to have finished out the season on a nice little winning streak, we hope. Is that there's still some amazing WNBA moments. But guys, I need to get your thoughts on these comments from Darko Rajakovic. He was on a podcast a couple of weeks ago in Serbia, but it's only making its rounds to North America over the weekend. It's because most people were trying to use Google Translate to figure out what he said, and this is what Google Translate told me and many others what Darko had to say about Scottie Barnes. He says, I think there's no coach and there is no success for a coach without players. You look at all the greatest coaches who are fantastic. He name drops Phil Jackson, who we know that he absolutely adores and had some great moments with, talking to him about his first season as a head coach. He says they all became great coaches by taking care of the players. And I think that on every level, there's no Phil Jackson without Michael Jordan. My Michael Jordan is Scottie Barnes.
I love that. I love that. Listen, it's obviously hyperbole, but to Darko Rajakovic, Scottie Barnes is that dude. He is the face of the franchise. He's, anybody's ceiling, like any player's ceiling, not any players, but, the idealist, optimist, the heroine, the fever dream of a ceiling, is Michael Jordan. What am I trying to say? This is something, those are obviously tremendous shoes to fill, and I don't think he actually believes that Scottie Barnes will become a Michael Jordan. But for this franchise, he's the face. He's the guy. He's the five-tool player that is going to push this team forward. Now, obviously, when Kawhi Leonard is dressed in a Raptors uniform, that will accelerate how far Toronto goes in the 2-3 window of Kawhi's tenure with second go-around with the Toronto Raptors. But I love that from the coach. We know that Darko is both hard on guys, but it's also like we see a lot of coaching on the sidelines when he's not being animated, but a coach can only go as far as their players. And a coach that embraces the personalities of the players and figures out how to manage your superstars. He praises Phil Jackson, and I think you look across to the Western Conference, he probably praises Steve Kerr as well, having to deal with the personalities over there and during Golden State's 10-12 run where they appeared in, I think it was 6 or 7 finals, and dealing, Clay is super chill and Steph is super chill and Durant might be bristly, and then Draymond Green is like a hissing radiator. And then, there's Jordan Poole. There's so many, but Steve Kerr and I'm sure has, and I think they know each other, don't they? I feel like it was maybe was it, no, it was John Schneider who got the note from Steve Kerr, right?
Yes, it was John Schneider, and he didn't know him. But still.
Okay,
cool.
yes, I'm sorry. I'm mixing up the Toronto coaches, managers,
cool.
But it's so yeah. I think that Darko obviously has got to put his arms around Scottie, and that's the future of this franchise. And I think, listen, he's also said, what did he say, Lindsay, last year, 2 years ago, that Scottie is only at 57% of his potential, something like that. So here's another clip where he's gently nudging. He's putting some fuel in the back of his superstar. Like, hey, keep pushing, big fella. You're not near your potential yet, and we're gonna take this trip together. Did you see it? I don't know. Am I? What did I say? A heroin-filled fever dream? Yeah, I think I was a little too far in outer space on that one. But Scott,
heroin
what was your
and
take
cocaine
on
Yeah.
references.
There's a reporting corn in it now. Yeah. Big Monday morning. But what'd you get up to on your vacation, Cabbie? Jeez. Yeah. Scottie Barnes is going to be all-star player.
All-star.
This guy he's been doing it. He's going to be face of the league. This guy's he's been behind Scottie since day one, man. And you gotta love it. You know, anytime you ask him about Scotty, it's something like this. Like, you know, like I think I asked him about Scotty in the playoffs. I'll never forget this because it's like his mind just goes straight into like he's got like a backlog of nice things to say about Scotty. But I asked him about Scotty, I think before or after, you know, one of the games in the Cleveland series. And he was like, Scotty Barnes is great father, great friend, great teammate.
Yes.
He is like it's like always right off the bat. It's got to be, and it's not always about basketball. It's always like Scotty's a great guy. Scotty, everybody loves him. His teammates love him. Like he is constantly pumping Scotty up. So you do have to love him on the other side of the world, getting a question about, I presume, coaching and bringing it back to making a Scotty Michael Jordan kind of comparison. But to your point, Cap, like I do think, you know, bringing Kawhi in, you know, the hope is Scotty was phenomenal in that series against the Cavs. And I think that's everybody's kind of lasting memory of him right now is just how great he was. You know, there's a world where he is, you know, like where does he max out? You know, like is he an all NBA first team level guy? I think that's not insane to say, especially if, you know, you pair him with Kawhi and he learns little things from Kawhi, but also just getting to play off of him. Like he's never like who's been his best teammate that he's played with, you know, like it might have been Pascal or Fred when he was, you know, not nearly as good as he is now. So I think that will be fascinating. And I do think there is a heroin fever dream world where maybe Scotty Barnes is the poorest man's Michael Jordan.
Let's go with it. Let's run with this heroin fever dream. And the fact that he brought up Michael Jordan, we're kind of loving it. And Chad is also very much loving this right now, by the way. Cabbie doesn't either of those drugs, but if you are listening and choose to do those, that's your life, you do you. But let's talk about Kawhi, because we need to dissect a video before we get to our favorite moments from the weekend. Kawhi seems so unbothered by the almost year-long investigation of his former team, the Clippers, and owner Steve Ballmer, maybe he being involved a little bit himself with cap circumvention. He just finished a tour in China, and this video was posted on his social media. There's some little Easter eggs you may not pick up on, but let's take a quick look and listen.
You want to hear that?
Yeah, let me hear it, y'all. Push everybody back. There's no autographs in Asia. No autographs in Asia.
Yeah. Somewhere in Asia, you couldn't even imagine. 100 flows up, she wanna sleep with the dragon. Somewhere in Asia, I'm trying to bring me a bag in. Me and Coach Loud in Shanghai looking for wagons. Somewhere in Asia.
All right, we're gonna bring them the music because you never know. Probably get.
She wanna sleep with the dragon. Somewhere in Asia, I'm trying to bring me a bag.
We're going to bring that down a bit because, well, don't want to get a copyright strike. Probably already played too much of the video. So a couple things there. Is that Kawhi actually dropping some bars, guys, off the top?
Some ad libs. That's he was the executive producer of a compilation album called Culture Jam a couple of years ago, but I don't think he was on. I can't remember if his voice was actually on any tracks. Like maybe he has like a producer tag, and that's what he was sitting into the claw, you know, like Mike Will made it or Manish on the beat. It's like the claw. I don't know, but it's fun to see. Like it's fun to see fun guy doing some fun things, Lindsay. Like he's hooping, guys in the studio. Yeah. We saw a little bit of a dance there. Like obviously this is a curated video, but fun guy. Living up to he's doing a lot of image reparation right now. Like, we saw like post for the first time, him promoting something. Like we never see him promote anything. Even in the New Balance ads, he's largely not speaking. It's just a bunch of like, it's Coco Gauff, it's Shohei Ohtani, it's Jamal Murray. Like just all these athletes doing fun things, but he's not really driving it with his personality or saying much. But this summer, bro's been active on the socials. So I don't know. I don't know, Lindsay, will we hear his voice on a track? Like maybe?
I think maybe. There was a report in 2021 that he was in a studio that, you know, I think he actually confirmed that he was in a studio potentially recording something. But Draymond Green a couple years ago, what did you say him, like a hissing fire hydrant? A radiator?
A hissing radiator. Just
that was fantastic. Fantastic. He said that one of his teammates at the time got Kawhi into a studio with him. So are we going to see a Kawhi track, maybe album, Scott. What do you read into this video where there's so many other things that we can pick up on?
Man, the Kawhi thing is so weird because, like you said, Cabbie, he's been posting this summer. He's been posting, but every time I see a Kawhi video, I just assume it's AI, which is maybe a problem that I have with everything. But I'm just like, is this real? Like, is that Kawhi? Is that his hair? Is this him? So the music video is just like confounding to me because it's just like, is this happening right now? I mean, I root to live in a world where Kawhi just puts out a full rap album in the middle of like a years-long investigation into whether or not he's received money. But to me, it's just yeah, that's what the tag should be. Not guilty. I planted those trees.
Yeah, I planted those trees. Yeah. Oh, that's funny. That's funny.
But, yeah, I want it to be real so bad. And I just love the whole attitude. I love how everybody's freaking out. We are like, is this trade going to happen? Every single day you log on thinking like, is this going to happen? Is this not? Like, and he's just over here rapping, showing guys how to play basketball with his long arms and his big hands, putting out all these social media videos. I love it, honestly. I live for that.
Lindsay, wait, the best guess, Lindsay. Is it an ad lib at the top of a track? Is it does he give 8 bars, 16 bars, or does he like record maybe he does the hook on a track? You don't think he's actually going to do a full album, right? Or a full song, do you?
As someone who owns every NBA player that's ever released an album on vinyl and a single, I have them all. I do think we're eventually going to see a full track from Kawhi. I think he will be featured on other tracks, but I do think Kawhi will be releasing music at one point, as well as Brandon Ingram and Glorilla. I think and it's just how time has changed so much. I remember with the previous commish for the NBA, David Stern, I believe. It's David Stern. They wouldn't let Allen Iverson release his album. They thought it was like a bad look for the NBA. Now it's like they're all like, we're going in the studio, we're going to release stuff. I think we're going to get a full album potentially from Kawhi. I don't have any sources to say that they are.
Oh
I do.
Gosh.
At one point, I think, from the years, there's been rumors how much he loves it. He's been in studio. But at the top of that video, it shows him scrolling on social media. This is a very intentional edit for this video, and it is him looking at tweets that say there was nothing found in the investigation that they did any wrongdoing. That is how unbothered Kawhi is right now. But that's when they're showing the phone. If people didn't pick up on that quick video, he's actually scrolling through, and it shows like, look at that. And then the NBA responding saying, he's so unbothered from his production company. Also, if you didn't know, that's his own production company, the Lavish Mountain.
I mean, we kind of hope that it's more the original ESPN report versus the strongly worded email from the league saying, no. That ESPN report is littered with inaccuracies. For us as Toronto fans, like, we just want the dude here. Like, it's training camps next month or starts next month. Like, we just want the dude here in uniform. And if we see another Kawhi cameo in a Drake music video, like he was in Too Sexy with Future or whatever, when they're like dancing in the snowscape, I don't know, 3 or 4 years. No, I guess it was right after they won the chip. So in 2019, all more power to it. And we'll be here to play that video and enjoy the music because whatever Drake made, Drake knows how to make bangers, and that's all the kid does. So if anybody can get Kawhi to like stay longer in the studio or make more appearances in videos to lean into the fun guy moniker, then it's Drake. And Drake also gave him praise in National Treasure, where he took shots at DeMar and he'd say G-Pop sent us a real one from San Diego, blah blah blah. So I imagine that their relationship is tight. Anyway. Kawhi to Toronto. That's all we want, Linz. I mean, Scott. That's all we want. We just want the saga to be over. We want number 2 in uniform. And we want the Toronto Raptors to go higher in the Athletic just released their power rankings, and Toronto is number 12. We want Toronto to be in like the second tier or even maybe the top tier with the New York and Philly and San Antonio and OKC. But anyway.
Miami.
Miami's actually 14.
Klay Thompson. Oof. What, they're below with after adding Klay?
Yeah. Denver's
That
11,
person's
Toronto's
crazy.
12, and Miami's 14. I think it was just published today or yesterday
DeMar
by
DeRozan's
Law
Denver
Murray.
Nuggets.
DeMar DeRozan's Denver Nuggets. What a sentence. He's a bucket. I mean, he's going to be a great addition. Do we know if DeMar will come off the bench? Because that's the thing with DeMar, right? He's never accepted a role, right? He's always been a starter.
He started, I think it's like 1,200 games, always as a starter. But it looks like he's going to come in and replace that Peyton Watson spot, who went in the sign and trade to Cleveland. Obviously, like, very different player. Like we know DeMar, it's like defense isn't number one, but he can score with the best of them. I think he shot 50% like pretty much every season in his career, even last year in Sacramento, which is not easy to do, surrounded by the guys he was surrounded by. So it'll be an interesting fit because it's not quite, it's not one for one, but he does have strengths that they definitely need coming off the bench.
We will see what happens there. A lot of NBA talk will continue this week, as well as MLB talk. Dylan C is supposed to be on the program tomorrow. We'll see what happens. As we know, schedules sometimes don't work out. We're still trying to get David Schneider on, who was supposed to be on about a month ago. But guys, the weekend. This is my favorite part of the Monday. It is our segment called About the Weekend, where we look at some of our favorite headlines. And Scott, since you are the guest today, the guest co-host, we'll let you pick your story first because I can't wait to see Cabbie's reaction.
Okay, so I'm going to just start right off here by saying I'm number one cheating a little bit because I think I started to see this last weekend, but it rolled through this weekend, so it counts. And I don't know if it's also technically a headline, so let's see if this gets me immediately.
It's things you like.
It is things I like. So I don't know how up on your most recent TV shows you guys are, but there's a show called Lanterns that just came out. It's on HBO. It's basically like a gritty Green Lantern TV show. So it's like a two-hander between Aaron Pierce and Kyle Chandler. So it's very Kyle Chandler heavy. He's phenomenal in it. So my feed for the last week since that first episode, all night yesterday, is just people praising Kyle Chandler and being like, wow, where's Kyle Chandler been? Has he been this great of an actor forever? How soon people forget about Coach Taylor from Friday Night Lights. So I will say, number one, shout out to all of you that have been filling the Twitter with clips from Friday Night Lights, because it has me watching the show again. It has me appreciating all those iconic Coach Taylor moments. And shame on you for the people out there that have not seen the show, that are out here being like, where did this guy come from? I figured I'd have Cabbie.
I know who he is, though.
And I would have Lindsay not on my side because you have never seen any show in the history of television. So.
No, I saw the Golden Girls.
There you go.
Rose.
Same thing. Basically same thing.
Lindsay, you have to give Scott some context on your music age on the Spotify Wrapped, because I don't know if he was on the show time or is aware of this.
It's also my nickname that a lot of people don't understand.
Go ahead.
Yeah. Oh, I have no shame in this. I fully love the Rat Pack, which I said on Friday include members Dean Martin, Frank Sinatra, and Sammy Davis Jr. And fun fact, Cabbie, before the show started, I kind of lectured both Zach and Scott about how that name was formed, which we won't get into right now. We're not going on that nerd alert. But this is also the reason why some people call me grandma in the chat, which I love, because my father-in-law was like, why are they calling you that? I know you don't like that, basically. Like, no. If somebody was actually coming at me about my age, I'll take your kneecaps out. That's a real threat. But it's because my Spotify age was something like, what was it, 90?
It was 80. It was in the 80s.
80.
Mid-80s.
It was like mid-80s, and we couldn't find anybody else after to find a lower Spotify age than me, because all I play on my phone is Dean Martin music.
So that's
I do know who Kyle Chandler
with the
is.
Golden Girls.
Yeah, but I do know Kyle Chandler.
You know what I mean? Yeah.
And when I quickly type in Kyle Chandler, is that there's a lot of posts, including one that recently says, Lanterns brought so many people to appreciate Kyle Chandler. Please watch Friday Night Lights. He was moving like the biggest DILF. Plus is one of the best TV dramas. Like, whoa. But yeah, never seen Friday Night Lights
before.
Yeah, as yourself, or like just in context for somebody else?
Oh no, I've never heard it before. I'm very familiar with the other category, MILF. That is a subcategory that I've often, when you hit the tab down and you boom, yeah. Okay, yeah, I absolutely know that one, but not DILF. No, haven't.
We're gonna start a new chat about DILFs in the Groove chat right now. I love that. I'm going to have to give both. Thank you for that. I will give both shows one episode. I will try this. I'm
Okay.
letting Whit Merrifield do this. He's sending me shows to watch, and I give it one episode, such as there's one with Billy Bob Thornton that I gave 2 episodes, and then it was just
Landman?
too slow.
Was it Landman?
Landman.
Or was it
Landman.
Yeah,
Goliath?
Landman.
Landman is absurd. It is it is the craziest show.
Oh, it is?
I love
Oh.
Mad. Yeah. My favorite show ever, though, is Mad Men, by the way. But Cabbie, what do you have? Let's go. As in, let's go.
This weekend, built for big moments, Randy Arozarena delivered one of his best performances of his career on Saturday, August 22nd, against the Chicago Cubs. ZP, go ahead and roll the video. Arozarena led off the game, first pitch home run, which was just electric. And then here in the bottom of the ninth, Randy Arozarena takes Jacob Webb deep to center field for an explosive walk-off home run, 404 feet. Here we go. Bang. And then just this bro's reaction is just unbelievable. So Arozarena, 3 for 4, 2 homers in the game, 3 RBIs. Seattle wins at 5-4. Bro has 3 fist pumps before first base and then plays rock, paper, scissors with the first base coach, Eric Young Jr. And then watch this. Okay, watch this moment here. Actually, I think we might get the fist pump here. Fans are listen. I don't like Seattle because we have history with them. But who plays rock paper scissors before touching first base on a home run? And then here at home plate, the double Gatorade bath. I don't know that I've ever seen that before. Arozarena, which is unbelievable. And he also, okay, here's a stat from Sarah Langs, which is he's the first pitcher, only 3 players in MLB history have hit first pitch leadoff home runs and then a walk-off home run in the same game. Pete Crow Armstrong, who we were talking about earlier, he did it also. He's done this feat as well this season. The Mariners won 5 of 7 at that point and then got trounced 19-2 on Sunday. So this Arozarena happened on Saturday, Then they got trounced 3 touchdowns on Sunday. And finally, additionally, in the 3rd inning, Arozarena stole a home run from Miguel Anaya with an incredible leap. So he was responsible for 4 runs, drove in 3, and stole a 4th. Seattle wins 5-4. Randy Arozarena, my man, accept these flowers from me. That was my favorite story from the weekend. Lindsay, what was yours?
I love it. Randy stealing home runs, Kyle Chandler stealing people's hearts and maybe their wives. And I'm going to go with somebody that stole a trophy in Canada. PWHL players on tour right now, Montreal, who won the title, are on tour with the trophy, getting to take it to their own respective hometowns. And the Associated Press breaking this story on the weekend that the Walter Cup, the replica Walter Cup that travels with the team, they do not have a keeper of the cup like the Stanley Cup does, did not make it to its destination. So they are currently working with the shipping provider to try to figure out where the Walter Cup actually is. This is a fun fan account, from PWHL Daily that actually supports the PWHL, jokingly saying like a reward will be a chocolate chip cookie. They're all joking around being like, how did the trophy go missing? Who stole it? But also, how much could you get for it? And this always makes me wonder, like, how many replica trophies are there? Because people, they don't realize like that the Raptors, they have a Larry O.B. trophy at the OVO Athletic Center. Is that what it's called now? Yes, it is. And then the Blue Jays have a couple World Series replicas. I don't know where it is. Did you guys ever play Where in the World is Carmen Sandiego?
Yes. Great game. I played it on my computer. I don't know if people know this, but there are 2 Stanley Cups. I don't know if that's really, so there's one that lives in the Hockey Hall of Fame and then one that gets to go on tours, like the PWHL trophy is going on tour. And someone in Lethbridge, find the trophy. You Albertans, let's go. Find the trophy, get a reward. You probably get like a $1,000 gift card from Tim Hortons and the heartfelt thank you from everybody on the Montréal Victoire, because the tour needs to continue so these ladies can enjoy celebrating with their friends and families in the off season. What do we think?
Tour happening tomorrow. No, I actually blame Zach, because Zach, aren't you part of a show tomorrow that's involving PWHL?
Yeah, tomorrow we are going and doing a live show for the Sheet from Aaron Ambrose's PWHL Walter Cup party. So
Oh, so the trophy may not be there.
I guess so. At this point, I guess we may be doing a Walter Cup trophy live show with no Walter Cup trophy. Yes.
My theory is Zach went and took it this weekend. So he told us, he's like, hey, I think he was going to like London, Ontario with his buds. But really, he went, stole the trophy to kind of build this hype around the live show tomorrow. So tomorrow, make sure to tune into that live stream where...
Thank you. That would be on the
and
Daily
they
Face-Off
find
YouTube
the
channel.
trophy live on the stream.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And Zach, like, I found it.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'll come up out of the water carrying the trophy onto the land. Live camera feed of me dragging it out. Yeah, that would be
Are
something
tarps
special.
optional, or are you wearing tarps on for that reveal?
I think we got to go tarps on. After the damage I did to my body this weekend, I don't need to be like...
I understand.
Stealing the cup.
Yeah, I don't need to be doing anything else. Yeah.
Damage stealing the cup. Well, Cabbie, while you were gone, Zach absolutely cleaned up with his Proline pick of the day. I'll let you know that I judged him for some of them because he picked Shane Bieber having 7+ strikeout in the chat. Everybody was shading him. So we're going to get right now to your Proline look ahead. This ain't the old Proline. The new app makes betting baseball easier than ever. Enjoy more props and same game parlays all baseball season long on the new Proline app. So Cabbie, Zach again is going to have a pick because last week he was absolutely scorching it. But we'll let you go first, Cabbie. What do you have for us today?
Well, at least one of us is on a heater. I've been colder than a puffin's butt. And I only know about puffins because when I read to my little guys, puffins live in the Arctic and penguins live in the Antarctic. This is life as a dad. You're teaching your kids about animals all over this God's green earth. Okay, so the Arizona Diamondbacks, a snake, have won 3 of their last 4 games, knocking in a bunch of runs, and Arizona's Merrill Kelly has registered back-to-back games, giving up 6 earned runs. Enter Pete Crow Armstrong, who is leading the NL MVP race. I think his odds are somewhere around like -180, -190. He is the presumptive favorite. Pete Crow Armstrong has been raking this past week, 6 home runs in his last 7 games. He's batting .400 against Arizona's Merrill Kelly. So PCA to hit a home run. Let's continue this heater the way that Zach Phillips has been on a heater with his picks. Today, PCA to homer against the Arizona Diamondbacks is my Proline pick of the day. Zach, bring us home.
This is going to be a really quick one because, Cabbie, I think this may be a good thing for us here, or potentially really, really bad thing based on the fact that I was so hot last week. At some point here, I may be reverse due, where it's due to fall off a cliff, because I'm on the same page as you, and I also have a PCA home run for today.
Oh, my goodness.
So we are doubling down on the PCA.
Do we just jinx ourselves?
Runs. I was trying to think of something where I was like, okay, let me get something else here as you were doing that, and I'm like, no, we got to just double down on the PCA home run. So that is also my pick for today.
Okay, let's do it. Let's do it, big fella. Let's go.
I feel good about
Unbelievable.
it. I feel good about it.
I feel good about it, too. I feel great.
Yeah, I think you both are feeling great about it. Scott, I hope you're feeling great. You were absolutely fantastic today. I want to end the show playing off a video that, Zach, I just put at the end of the lineup about Jacob Young of the Washington Nationals had an absolutely insane catch. And I'm loving every moment of this. And I'm wondering, Scott, when we eventually play it, how many tries do you think it would take you to make a similar catch? So there's 2 different angles. So this was yesterday against Miami. Miami ended up going on and winning it. So like from this angle, he looks like Spider-Man. It looks pretty crazy, but there's another angle of it that really shows like he's flying in the air. It looks like he's almost going to fall on his face.
Oh
like
my
look at, and
gosh.
he's holding, like it's just, look at
How do you
this
get
right
any
here.
traction on the video board, too, that he climbs the video board? It's not like a padded fence where you can get some grip. And did he like hurt his fingers, like get jamming into the screen to help lift him up higher to catch that ball? This is a phenomenal catch. Bro actually slipped down the screen. You can see there, he sliding down there.
It looked like he was going to fall on his face after, too, because he just, like, you're right, lost a little bit of that grip. So, Scott, I have full faith in you. I've seen you during the Raptors media game. I've coached you on the Raptors media game. You have a little bit of hops. How many tries? If we gave you a trampoline, heroin, and cocaine, and whatever else we discussed on the show that's illegal that you've never done in your life.
Oh, now
in your mind, at least.
try.
In your mind. Yeah, first try.
Oh, I mean, if I'm getting all the benefits of the trampoline and the substances, I think I can probably get this, first few tries. Because, the issue with, just me as is, okay, so maybe I get close a couple of times, but it's the more times I try, I'm going to be gassed after like 2-3 tries. So you introduce the substances, that probably prolongs that, gives me some more cracks at it. I think I could probably get it within 10 with some help. No help, I'm saying it just never happens for me.
All right, let's get this man a trampoline and some contraband.
We are going to get you. Yeah, let's
Can we do this?
Let's try this up. May we not have you tested after, but we appreciate you joining us today. It was an absolute hoot of a good time, and always love your takes. Thank you for joining us today, Scott. And thank you for everybody who joined us in the chat. It's been off the rails a little bit today, but we'll be back tomorrow, hopefully, talking to Dylan Cease about his collaboration with the AGO. Of course, we're going to talk baseball and anything. Also, there's some interesting Leafs news that we will discuss tomorrow. Thank you for joining us on Off the Roster.
Thank you for joining us on the live stream. We have much more on the Off the Roster YouTube channel. Interviews, shorts, reels, post-game clips. If you need that Toronto sports fix, we got you.